that the body found in Wyoming on Sunday was that of Gabby Petito's. The initial report from the coroner ruling it a homicide as far as a cause of death. I do want to bring in our own live guest right now. He is a chief medical examiner in Bay County, Michigan. His name is Dr. William Morrone. Dr. Morrone, thank you so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. I wish we were speaking under better circumstances. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. The lockdown is nowhere near happening in Michigan. Everybody's healthy up here. We're doing well. Serving the county, serving the people, and it's nice to connect to new friends.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate you making time for us here on Live Now from Fox to give us your insight on this really extensive case that we're following. There's a new development, new twist and turn, it seems, almost every day. So, Dr. Morrone, if we can, I do want to backtrack for a second. So, it was a Sunday evening when the FBI Denver Bureau released that they had found remains that were believed to be Gabby Petito. So, what does it necessarily mean when they say we've identified remains, but we don't have that positive ID yet?
When they talk about remains, it's really important that they're talking about they do not have a recently deceased human body. If you look at anywhere from September 11th to September 30th, the average temperature was 60 to 70 degrees. Sometimes it got up to 80. You can have a body go through dry bloat and bloating, wet putrefaction. These are all different phases. What they know that they think that they have a female, they think they have somebody who's the approximate height and weight and who's race congruent, and her bone structure's that of somebody who's the appropriate age, past puberty, but not an elderly female. They have somebody who's blonde, and this person's remains fit a timeline from the disappearance. And what they hope to do with more information is to look at the forensic medical knowledge and dental knowledge and match the deceased Potito to the remains that they have. But they don't have a fresh human dead body, but they have remains.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Doctor, because we know that the area where she was found is very rural, it's very open, it's very deserted. And talking about that timeline from when she was reported missing to when those remains were found, does weather have an impact on identifying these remains? And, you know, is it able to cause any wearing of these remains?
Yeah, I took a look and I went back to the National Weather Bureau and I looked at humidity and temperature with sunlight are probably our biggest problems that are natural boundaries. Human body will decompose, and that early part of that will allow nature to interact with the body and return a body to certain components. What we're going to lose is all the water in the body. What they probably have is remains from that temperature and that time of year that are really close to mummification. Unless this body was under the ground and wrapped, and they're not telling us that. But if you assume that the body was exposed, we have the right temperature and the right humidity for a rapid decay through the first 3 stages of decomposition.
Now, Dr. Morrone, yesterday we did hear from the FBI Denver again. They did release the coroner's information from a preliminary autopsy. So what does that necessarily mean?
That's really important. The first thing is, a preliminary autopsy means there's going to be a second autopsy. And the second autopsy may be involving federal experts and surely FBI resources. The autopsy so far has been to identify the remains and to begin the paperwork for prosecution. The second autopsy might be at the university closest that has a medical school. It might be in Quantico. They might take the remains to FBI headquarters in Virginia. Or the autopsy could go to the nearest armed forces, Army base, Air Force base, where you would have the Armed Forces medical examiner contribute. And the other thing, because we have the environment, you might want to invite, and I'm sure the FBI has people on staff that are consulting forensic anthropologists and entomologists because of the involvement with insects. And the most important thing, and I do think people will mention this now, but when this first happened, if Miss Petito was drugged, we need to know what the toxicology is, and it'll involve chemical testing. But remember that the national parks are federal land. So for the current medical examiner to give this up to the FBI is not uncommon.
Yeah, and Dr. Morrone, I do want to mention that we've spoken with a couple of forensic experts throughout the week as we knew that this autopsy report was being done yesterday. And they said, like you were just mentioning, we may get some information on Tuesday, but we're not going to get all of it. So why is the official cause of death pending right now and not public?
Here's why this is really important. In the autopsy, they will collect findings or pathological conditions. It could be broken bones or lacerations or blunt force injury or injury to internal organs, but we do not know exactly the order in which those happened to cause the homicide. So exactly how that has to be laid out is important. And then if there's damage to the human body, we need to test to see what kind of force would that have been. Was it from a shovel? Was it from a knife? Was it from an axe? And we would want to be able to take lacerations and match them to blades so that we knew what we had. And if there was any kind of restraint, any kind of forensic restraint with tape or rope will still be there, even in a dry, mummified body. So the extra time will also give us fiber and trace evidence analysis. Many of these components are incomplete, and the majority of coroner and medical examiner offices across the United States can handle a normal homicide, but this is not a normal homicide. So the federal government is going to bring in resources to give us some of those specialists.
Now, Dr. Morrone, I do want to show again, we do have some video of the exact location where the body was found. Now, as you were saying, this is a very deserted area, but they still, ironically enough, we know that a Tampa family who was in the area and happened to accidentally video the white van that they were doing that road trip with, that actually led FBI to this area where the body was found. So why is evidence recovered at the scene of the body important for the medical examiner?
Well, the evidence that they're going to recover is going to help them recreate a crime scene. And until we actually know that there's only one crime scene, that where she was found is where she met her end, we need to know how many different places are going to present evidence. If there's no blood where she was found, but the body seems to have endured tremendous trauma, then there's another crime scene. And we need to find that crime scene. We have to look at a possible multiple crime scenes, including the vehicle. That's what's really important.
Yeah, you literally went to my next point. We also have this video of the van. We also have Brian Laundrie's car, his Mustang that was believed to be found at the reserve where he was last allegedly heading to. That's being towed as well. So why his personal car?
His personal car, because not all of his traveling items may still be in the van. He can take things that he brought across America and unpack them and put them in storage. And that's really what they need to do, is for personal and trace evidence, look to see if there's a certain kind of fiber to a shirt that's not available in the van. We have to look, where does he get dressed? Where's his armoire? Where's his cabinets? Where's his closets? If it's athletic wear, is it in a duffel bag? We need everything he's owned to match to all the crime scene evidence. And especially if there was any kind of defensive wounds that are available, we need to know if he has makeshift weapons or real knives.
Now, we do have that search continuing today for her fiance, Brian Laundrie. If he is found, Dr. Morrone, how will an examination of Brian himself also help a medical examiner when it comes to an autopsy and this whole investigation?
Well, the most important thing is that if there was a struggle and this crime scene ended up in some kind of altercation and the deceased shows defensive wounds, that he may show the end product of somebody struggling, which would be scratches, abrasions, bruises, something that might last 2 or 3 weeks. And a physical exam for him would be really important, because driving a truck usually doesn't result in those kind of trauma.
Now, you've touched on it several times, Dr. Morrone, but can you explain how time has played such a factor in this whole investigation? And really, when do you think that we will get an official cause of death with more explanation?
Here's why it works the way it does. The chemistry working behind the toxicology is usually set up that runs through equipment that has to do duplicates and triplicates, and it takes a long time. And then some of that stuff is audited and it's refereed, especially if it's going into a chain of custody. That's what's really important. So some of the data needed to collect may be collected in 4 weeks, but it has to go to the investigators, it has to go to the detectives, it has to go to the special agents to reconstruct things. They're really not going to tell us a lot of what they were doing in these next 3 or 4 weeks. And we may not know some of the most important facts until court. That's when they keep the most important things. But we'll be able to see they're following a chronological timeline that a second autopsy, I don't know if anybody's brought that up, but that's why I called it a preliminary autopsy. The toxicology results, if she was drugged and she was murdered, we have to be able to put that into a timeline.
All right. Well, Dr. William Morrone, Chief Medical Examiner out there in Bay County, Michigan. Is there anything else we may have missed? Anything else you want our viewers to know about the autopsy or anything about this investigation before we send you off?
Well, I really have a full faith in the FBI team and the special agents on this, but because it was a national park and these are federal lands, some of the news media and news releases may shift away from the Grand Teton counties and go back to FBI headquarters or the site of the court, the federal court where this is going to be prosecuted.
Actually, that I want to ask you one more question, Dr. Morrone, because we heard from the Petito family lawyer. They said that we do not want to have a memorial service. We don't want to make a statement until Gabby is home. So because this is such a extensive investigation, how soon can the Petito family expect to get Gabby's body back?
Well, if it goes to an Army base, the second autopsy, or it goes to Quantico in Virginia, you're going to have hundreds of people working overtime to get the data they want so they can try to get to a funeral service for closure, which reasonably in a high profile murder case might be 7 to 10 days.
All right. Well, Dr. Morrone, we thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We really appreciated your insight. It's been a lot of information to cover that we love having experts on like yourself for. So thank you so much for being with us here.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.